Like, was it just like, I'm going from this, trying to learn this way to go to a system, and it's just flipping the switch and boom, just rainbows? Really?
Literally, yeah.
Please tell me.
It was insane. I switched to the system and it was just not waking up every day like excited for the amount of money I was gonna make.
Welcome back, everyone, to Be the Trader. Today is a very special day. We are in Las Vegas, and I'm meeting some good people and some great traders. And today, I have my man Chris Shunk here today. And Chris, welcome to the show, my man.
Thank you. Nice meeting you.
Absolutely, man. I appreciate you being on today, man.
Cool.
I had your brother on the show.
Yes.
And his story is pretty cool, and he brings you up quite a bit. So I can't wait to learn, your story. And so if you can tell us just what got you into trading to even begin with.
Yeah, so it was the beginning of 2020. Evan, my brother, had been trading for a year and a half, and he said he thinks he found a cool strategy, and he said he thinks he can teach me it. And so this was February of 2020, right before COVID got crazy, and I was a music teacher. And so I think I opened up my Cobra account in February, and I think I took like one trade, maybe two trades with him. And then, COVID happened in March, and I lost half of my students, and I was like, I need to make more money. And then that's when I really was like, okay, Evan, teach me trading. And that's when I watched like a bunch of DVDs, and he guided me through it. And that's when I sort of started doing it really full time in March.
In March. And so like, how long was it like quick for you? Like when did you kind of find success? Like what was that like?
I mean, I was lucky because I was green right away. My first trade was green, and I never dipped below my initial bankroll because he was teaching me like one-on-one, and the market was incredible. And we were doing discretionary trading. I think I was doing discretionary trading for about a month.
Yeah.
And then I just completely switched to system trading based off the data that he had for the last year.
But why though? Like if you were doing okay and you were green from the start, like just curious, like why pivot?
Because it looked like I would make more money that way, and it would be significantly less stressful. And at the time I was following him, I was basically on my computer sitting next to him, just like he's like, I'm in, and I'm like, okay, and then I just like get in real quick. And like that's so annoying to be not self-reliant and like just to have to rely on him. And then but then he showed me his data, and I was like, oh, I can just follow these rules, and I don't even have to read the tape. I don't even have to read the level 2 or the chart. I just do data analysis. I'm like, that sounds way better. So
have you always been that mindset, like were you like more data driven?
I've always been a math guy. I've always liked math. I've never really done data until this, but I mean, yeah.
I'm very curious, like in 2020, when you made that pivot, were you always wanting to like, were you before stocks, before your brother introduced it, was that something that you knew you kind of wanted to do something different, or you just kind of just happened?
No, I was already trying to transition out of music into acting. So I was doing a lot of social media stuff. I knew I kind of wanted a change in career, but it had nothing to do with stocks or trading at all. I only started doing that because he was doing it, and I had no option. There was like no work at the time. So.
Yeah, absolutely.
But then I fell in love with it. So
that's awesome. So whenever you took the system, because you said you found some success, you were basically just like following, right? And you were learning that way.
Yeah.
And then you say, I can just follow these rules. I don't have to look at charts. I don't have to look at level 2 and know all this. Mm-hmm. People are going to hear that and be like, man, is he trading with nothing? Like, is he just trading with just the data literally? Like, what do you mean by making that statement? Like, I don't need to look at level 2 and all and so forth. Hey, we wouldn't be able to do these face-to-face interviews if it wasn't for our sponsor, Cobra Trading. So if you can just give them a few seconds of your time, we'd really appreciate it. Cobra Trading is the go-to broker for day traders and short sellers. And I'm not the only one saying this. In fact, Benzinga awarded Cobra Trading as the go-to broker for short selling. They have a heavy focus on direct market access order routing, so you have the fastest execution. They have some of the best locate prices and availability. They also have amazing customer service. I've experienced many different brokers, and it's why I use them every single day and why I'm proud to have them as our sponsor. Sign up now by clicking the Be the Trader referral link below and earn 1 free month of software with Cobra and 25% off all commissions. Now let's get back to the show.
Well, level 2, I mean, you don't need to look at it at all for data. It's completely irrelevant. You look at charts if you're wanting to look at things like resistance, but in terms of the minute chart, I don't need it. I look at it, but I really only need daily charts for the system trading. Well, actually, no. Sometimes never mind. It depends on the system, but basically what I mean is I'm not sitting there looking at support and resistance levels and going off of that.
Yeah.
That's what I mean.
So you're mainly tracking charts, tracking data, and then you'll determine based off that data what your play is. And that data gives you the ability to know where your entry is before you even you don't even really look at the chart period. Like you don't need to in essence.
Well, because there's some, I'll look at the chart. I'll look at the daily chart.
Yeah.
But I don't need to sit there looking at the minute chart. I'm in the trade. I have my stops. That's what I mean. I don't need to read the tape.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Do you feel that that's something that people fall trapped to, like trying to learn to read the tape and maybe something like that? Like whether it's, they always say tape in level 2, right?
Right.
Always, it's a level 2. I saw the shift on level 2, or the tape showed me it slowed down. Something like that. Do you feel like that gets in the way of a lot of people?
It does for me. I'm sure it does for other people. I know there's successful traders out there that do it, but it's just not for me, and I think you have to decide for yourself.
I got you. So when you started trading this system, was it easy right away? Like, was it just like, I'm going from this, trying to learn this way, to go to a system, and it's just flipping the switch and boom, just rainbows? Really?
Literally, yeah.
Please tell me.
It was insane. I switched to the system, and it was just not waking up every day like excited for the amount of money I was gonna make. But 2020 was insane. It's not like that anymore. We just got lucky that we started this system in literally the best year for the last 10 years for gap up short. So, but yeah, we switched, and I was like, it was just way less stressful. I still didn't follow it perfectly, and even today sometimes I'll still stray from following it perfectly, but it wasn't like in 2020, even us following it not perfectly, we were still making plenty of money. And I see it on my profit chart. It was like first month 2K, second month 3K, and that was when I started implementing the system, and then I think it was like 10K the next month, and it just kept going.
That's nuts.
Yeah.
That's amazing, man. And then I think the story has it, and if you haven't watched the episode with with Evan, his brother, you need to go watch that one, because whenever you took that system and went after it, and you kind of shrugged your brother like, yo, like this system's working, and he kind of goes after it as well.
Yeah.
And so do you feel like systematically that's going to be your way forever, or do you feel like you'll ever adapt and maybe go and do other types of trading, whether it's just be discretionary?
It depends. I still try to do some discretionary sometimes. It's just, like a tenth of my normal size. I think the future of what I'll be doing is probably always going to be system based, but it might look discretionary. Like I might have multiple exits or multiple entrances or multiple stops, and people might look at my chart and think I'm doing discretionary trading, but it's probably going to just be system based. Yeah.
And when you mean by system based, like every time I'm up 1%, I'll take some off, or something simple as that?
It entirely depends on what my data suggests. So that's what I mean. Whatever my Excel sheet suggests, I'm going to do that. That's what I mean by system.
And you use data, if you can refresh my memory, on how far back do you typically go back?
Well, I've been hand tracking since I started in 2020, but now, as Evan was explaining, we have a friend that can get data from whatever year. So we have data back to, I think, 2018 is, we don't really look that deeply into before 2018, but we base it off 2018 now and
Gotcha.
Beyond.
So it just sounds like, okay, just from my perspective, that it's been pretty chill from your experience. Like I would love that experience,
Yeah.
Right? A lot of people don't get that, right? What they get is maybe they go through a lot of losses for a while before they find anything. Maybe they're still going through it, right? Has there been a time though through your journey where there was like a moment where it was holding you back in some way? Maybe it was a mindset, maybe it was something a bad habit? Did anything like that occur? And it's cool if it's not, but I'm just very curious.
Well, what happened to me actually is anytime I would be upset, it would be kicking myself for not following the system exactly. So all of 2020, I saw myself not follow my system exactly and miss out on so much money, even more money than I could have made. So then 2021 comes and the beginning is a little rougher. And yeah, I mean, we were worried. I mean, we thought we had like some cheat that shouldn't exist, right? And so we were like, we were worried it would just disappear, and it felt like it was a couple times, but we didn't have a choice really. We had to just keep doing it. I mean, we didn't have a choice, and then it turned around eventually.
So that's nuts. So, but like, what's crazy is the fact that whenever as a newer trader in terms of time, right? But you have your brother with you, who's a little bit more experienced in terms of time. Because of that, like, I think that's helping you, right, in some way of getting through those dark times or those times where it was like not working so well.
Yeah.
Because you say it was really easy at first 2020, it was probably a good idea to start then.
Yeah.
But then in 2021, it got a little rough. Like, tell me about that. Like in 2021, when it got a little rough, and then you guys were able to push through that. What was that like?
Basically, what happens in every rough period, and it's actually happening right now, beginning of 2022, is we just do even more data analysis and try to figure out exactly, is there something we should change? Things aren't going well right now. Is there a specific setup that's not going well right now? And then we change. So we actually just whenever there's a rough patch, we just get in our Excel sheet and try to figure out. As Evan
Do you
was
take
saying,
a break like from trading while you're doing that?
No, I religiously, if there's a system trade, I do it. It doesn't matter because you only get the odds of your system if you do every trade, right? So.
You can't just dodge the losers.
No, because I mean, if you have a system in which the majority of trades are winners, the odds are you're going to dodge a winner. So I just do every single one.
And you said you find yourself getting upset sometimes in the past where you didn't follow your system quite to the T that you wanted to, and you missed out on gains, right? So can you talk about, what do you mean by that? Like, did you not follow it? Did you find yourself not following as in getting in or taking profits too soon? Like, what was it about it?
Yeah, typically it was taking profits before my prescribed exit, and then I would get out, and then it would just tank even more.
To the place you should have waited for?
Yes.
How do you overcome that, or are you still dealing with that sometimes? Like, can you explain?
I mean, you just see it happen enough, and you're like, okay, I gotta stop doing that, and you just follow your system exactly.
And so, are you like taking pieces at a time, or are you like one time? How are you kind of doing it?
Typically, right now, it's one entrance, one exit, and one stop. I actually just started implementing multiple stops, but I still only have one entrance, one exit, and we're working on possibly multiple exits right now, but it's not solidified yet.
And when you say multiple stops, you mean like stops, like as in other OCO orders? Is that what it's called? Where it'll take profit either here or stop here, and just different sizes along the way? Is that what you mean?
Yeah, so I mean, I still have the same entrance and the same exit,
right,
but I'll have two different stops, which means one of those stops, the tighter stop will be bigger size than the wider stop.
Okay, gotcha. So you're just managing your position, pretty much, right? And if you're in a winner, you want to capitalize as much as possible. So you want to get a little tighter stop on that bigger piece.
Yes, yeah.
Understand?
Yeah.
So you just, once you start to see it happen over and over again, you just basically said, I'm just not going to hold it. I'm just going to hold it to my price target from now here on out.
Yeah.
Man, that's...
And what helps, honestly, is leaving my computer. I just get away.
I was trying to find out what's helping you. See, like you just said...
All winter, I would get in my trade and just ski. And then have my alerts in, have my phone in case I needed to get out.
Yep.
Or, I mean, I had my hard stop in, but I would have my phone to make sure it got
Absolutely.
out.
Yeah.
But that's all I would do.
Yeah. And then you have like your profit targets already set. See, a lot of people don't talk about that. And that's what I was trying to find out, because it just sounded like you just like, I just sat there. Like it sounded like, overnight I just kind of like just stopped doing that. But you had, like, you did something. Like you actually went away, stepped away from the desk, let the play work out.
Yeah.
And because it's difficult to do it sometimes for some people while they're sitting there.
Yes. Because you see it tank and you're like,
Yeah.
That's got to be the bottom. Let me take a piece, you know? It messes with you.
It does.
I'd rather not look because also, I mean, because another side is I'll see it tank, I won't take a profit, and then it will close higher, and then I'll be like, I should have taken it. But if I don't ever see what my profit would have been down there, then I don't get as much FOMO. So I don't even do that calculation. If I leave in the middle of the day and I come back, I don't even calculate how much would I have been up if I took it at the bottom. I don't want to know.
Because going down that road I feel like we all have done it, but when we go down that road, it's like you're never happy.
Yeah.
You're never. Like, I could have made more if I would have taken it here. I could have lost less if I would have taken it off here.
Yes.
Like, talk about how do you focus on trying to every day as a trader? Are you happy?
When I'm doing well.
Yeah. How do you stay like sane? Like the idea of what you just said, how you don't even calculate if it was wrong. Like, is there any other things that you do to keep mindful of like staying systematic, not being worried about I'm going through a drawdown right now, and just keep doing what you need to do?
Well, I think you realize you have to take out as much personal responsibility as possible, right? And that's what the data does for you. So like, I mean, you're never going to be smarter than a computer. You have to like admit we're all like dumb, emotional human beings. So you put all your effort into your Excel sheet and you track the data exactly how it should be. And then when you analyze it, it tells you exactly what to do. There's no way you're going to be better than that, in my opinion. So if I do exactly what it does, and like say it says, don't take everything out here, wait till here.
Yeah.
Say don't take everything out here, wait till here. But it goes here, and then I have to end up getting out here. I'm not going to kick myself because my data told me to do that. So remember, my responsibility is analyzing the data.
I love that you shared that because everyone deals with that challenge.
Yeah.
If they have, for the most part, we all have, not all, I can't say that, but a lot of people have some type of way or figuring out where it should go.
Right.
Right? They have some type of way of figuring that out. And for the most part, we know. Like, we don't know, but we have an idea, and if it is going to work, it is going to go there.
Right.
Right? But we cut it short.
Right.
Apparently, Siri wants to be in that. Yeah. Anyway, so, but what's interesting is I like that you shared as a consistently profitable trader, when people are watching this, they might cut, maybe they're in that position where they only take profits down here, and it's here, and then it reverses, and they get upset. I know that that can hold them back by getting upset, beating themselves up. Did you ever find yourself beating yourself up at all, or were you always like a good coach to yourself? Like, how did you deal with that?
Well, I mean, okay, like, yeah, if I was in the green in the middle of the day, and then by the end of the day I'm in the red,
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, that sucks. But more often, I took profits too early, and I would have made way more money that would have made up for that in the first place. So just
if you
knowing
stuck
that,
with it.
Yeah. No, if I stuck to the system perfectly, I would have made more money, like than covering here, and then it reverses. I mean, there's no way. I mean, I've tried so many times to beat my system, and I've never succeeded.
And that's so hard to tell someone and have them do, because it's hard to do.
Yeah.
Right? That's like so hard to do, like to keep pulling the trigger. How do you
look at the math? I mean, like if the math says this is going to equal this, I mean, you just have to believe it.
Yeah, and you just got to know that like how did you get so used to being acceptable of losses? Is it just the math? Because I know you keep going back to the data, but I'm just curious, like, were you always good at that in life? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I think, I mean, I've talked a little bit about this before, but I've, like, you know, because I was a musician, I wanted to be an actor, I've always been more of an artist, and money's never really been my goal, it's just been creativity, so I think that makes it a little easier for me. I mean, I was making like $35K as a music teacher. So,
yeah, man.
And I didn't even really care that much. I mean, I wanted more money, obviously, but yeah, I don't know, I don't care to be like a millionaire.
I love that, man. I love that you said that. And thank you for sharing that, because where you're coming from is important.
Yeah.
Like your mindset right there shows that you're just doing, that's why it sounds easier,
Right.
to do your system, because you're not in it for focusing on the wrong thing.
Right.
You're focused on
To win
the
it,
process and
yeah,
to
the
do
game.
something. Yeah, the game itself instead of like the outcome.
You have to ignore. I mean, it's funny because it's all about money, but you have to
Right.
ignore the money sometimes.
It's nuts. And is there anything that you do that helps you? I get that your background helps you already, like not really think about the money, but is there anything you do that, because sometimes as you were growing as a trader, I'm sure there was a point where you started to think about the money. Like there had to be.
I mean, dude, we're a special case because my first year, I mean, it was more money than I ever thought I would make in like 5 years, right? And so it's like, it was so much. Like I didn't even. I mean, like I lose some of it. Like it was already more than I ever thought I would.
So
have.
you were just like,
I was
just like, grateful, you know?
Yeah.
You're just like,
I was like, dude, I don't even. I remember I'd take like a 8K loss. That was like 4 months of work back in the day, and I'm like, what?
And see that I love that every time you answer the questions I'm asking right now, it's all from a core of like I don't know how to put it into words other than like content and happy. You know, like you're happy with who you are, where you're at, and you're along the journey.
Right.
And you're just gonna keep taking it.
I mean, I also have like a supportive family, so like I never had to worry about being homeless or anything like that, you know.
I understand, yeah.
So,
but it's still good to hear though, because like the background of a teacher shows that too. Mm-hmm. Like not everyone can become a teacher, right? And I get that it takes a lot of hard work, right? And then they don't compensate you for all the hard work that you do dealing with young students. Yeah. So I can see that completely, and I love that you shared it with me personally, because now I'm thinking like, man, like it's just so good to hear that when you focus on process, you just keep focused on process, the outcomes come.
Yeah.
So I know you're teaching your brother too, right? You have another family member. You are teaching each other.
Our older brother.
And so like your brother taught you, and now y'all two are teaching another brother. And so, and I'm sure you've probably helped a friend here and there occasionally, maybe not, but as you're helping someone else, now that you're on the other side, what have you found that is something that is challenging that maybe for someone, you don't have to name names, but you've seen occurring on maybe an occasion, like maybe multiple traders, or see on Twitter, you know?
I've seen people, I mean, FOMO basically is the biggest killer I've seen, where someone will get in a trade. It's like the whole gambling thing, like, you know, they don't approach it from a system way. Actually, you know what, the biggest problem I've seen is when people don't have their own data set they can analyze themselves, because then they're reliant on other people. And then that gives FOMO, because like for example, you'll take a trade from someone else's system. It will be a loser, happens to be a loser. You'll feel depressed, then you won't take the next one because you're like, do I really believe in this? And then it will be green, and then you're like, then the next one will be green, and you're like, okay, maybe it is good, and then you'll jump back in, and then that will be a red one again. So if you have your own system, it will help you take every single one, so you'll get the greens and the reds.
So even if you find the system, you should probably do your own homework
100%.
and test 100%. Because what you're talking about is confidence.
Yeah. I mean, even Evan and I mean, we have basically the same system, but we're two different people, and so we'll actually stray from each other sometimes, even though we're looking at the same data set.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
that's not, I'm so happy you said that, because like, you know, so many people ask questions of like, hey, who should I learn from, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, at the end of the day, like you just need to kind of build a really core of good principles, and then create your system that fits you.
Yeah.
And you share that you and your brother pretty much trade the same system or have the same data.
Yeah.
But I'm sure it happens, like you said, like often you're trading kind of different executions.
Yeah. Yeah.
And how...
Even different trades. Like
that's what I was going to say.
I usually take more. It did good for me for a while, but it did bad for me recently.
Yeah.
But I mean, basically, I'll take every trade he trades plus a little more. But then even in that, some of our execution will be different as well.
And I think that just shows how unique trading is. Even though you're brothers, you trade the exact same way. Exact same way. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Now,
I want to know this. Is there anything that you wish you would have done sooner in your trading journey?
I mean, I wish I would have executed better in 2020. I wish I would have just off the bat exactly what my data said, but I mean that's the.
You were being discretionary then.
I just wasn't. It took maybe 7 or 8 months to really be like, okay, we've missed out on so much money covering too soon. Basically, my problem was covering too soon, and I was just like, okay, and that was it. And now I don't. But it still happens like occasionally, because we're humans.
Yeah.
That's why I leave,
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
But I'm glad you shared it because there's a lot of people who are dealing with that same exact thing right now.
Mm-hmm.
And they when they're watching us talk, they're probably thinking like it's possible, like it just happened.
Yeah.
Like that. But you just explained it took maybe 7 months or so
Yeah.
to finally go, you know what? Stop.
Yeah.
And that's important because if you didn't do that, you'd probably be missing out on a lot still.
Yeah.
To this day.
Mm-hmm.
So I appreciate you saying that, man.
Yeah.
I'm curious, man, is there anything at all that you wish a new trader would know right now that maybe has like some false, like there's those ideas out there of false, like you never go broke taking a profit, for example.
Right.
Is there any ideas out there you feel like you'd like to tell a trader, hey man, like maybe think of it more like this, whether it's around risk or anything?
I mean, it's hard for me to say exactly what's true because like even, that phrase, it never hurts to take a profit, I actually completely disagree with, but there's traders who it seems to work for them. So you don't know. But for me, yeah, things like it never hurts to take a profit or add like wait for a better entrance or take some at support. I don't like any of that stuff because I don't think it just seems too unpredictable for me. So in my opinion, don't do anything unless your Excel sheet says to. It's just 100% data based.
If someone wants to start trading this way, like thinking this way, systematic, Excel spreadsheet, what is a good way to think when they're starting to track? Like when they want to create their own Excel, what should they be thinking about and what to track? Is there any ideas around that?
Yeah, well, it depends on the play. I mean, if you're looking at gap up shorts, you want to track how much it gapped up. It's open, it's high, it's low, it's closed, market cap, flow, volume, even time of day stuff, time of low, time of high. Yeah, you can start there.
The way you track your data, like when you're doing that, are you thinking to yourself as a systematic trader, are you thinking, I need 75% of this criteria to be hit to take trade 100%, or 75% means I take a third of my normal position and 100% means I take a full position? Like, how are you viewing your data?
That's a good question. For the majority of my career, it was full size on the best plays, and then I would do smaller size on what were technically like the best play, but with a red flag or sort of a worse play. And that was working for a long time. So I would, you have your plays ranked. So on my B plays, they would obviously be smaller size. But now I'm kind of in a mode where I'm ignoring all my B plays and I'm only doing my full size A plays.
What determines that discretion?
Yeah, it depends on the play. Gap ups.
What determines the decision to say I'm just going to ignore B's and C's now?
Oh, because they stopped. They're not universal. So the B plays, the reason they're B plays is because they were working fine in 2020 and they were working pretty decently in 2021.
Yeah.
But pre-2020 they weren't really working that well.
Yep.
This year they're not really working that well. So it's sort of the conclusion that 2020 and 2021 were sort of anomaly years, and we might be going back to how the market typically behaves. So I only want to do the A plays, which have always worked.
How long does it take you to determine that? Because I'm sure you're trading Bs and losing for a while.
Right.
Do you just make a decision every month? You analyze every week? Like, how did you come to that conclusion? Like, how long did it take you?
Basically, when you feel like garbage, So like, up through February of this year, these B plays were like, I was like doing amazing.
Yeah.
And then later half of February and March, I was like losing the gains the B plays made me. And then it was like, all right, maybe I need to change. But yeah, well, I mean, you know, every time, basically for me, anytime I'm losing money, I do like, the way I cope is like deep dive analysis and try to figure out, am I doing something wrong? So this year that happened, deep dive analysis. Okay, maybe they're not the smartest to do.
Yeah, no, I appreciate you saying that because I know it's hard to determine when to cut something out.
Yes.
It can be because like, are you keeping an eye on it still?
Oh yeah. Yeah. Well, but really what happened was Evan got the data from prior 2020, and then it was like, oh, these haven't really worked before, and then it was like, that was actually
Gotcha.
it. It's not even that they stopped now. It's just that
You got more proof or more
yes.
solidification of like, okay, let's cut this
They
out
really
now.
are B plays. Like,
Yeah.
they were B in 2020 and 21 because they weren't as profitable, but now they're definitely Bs because they weren't even profitable at all in other years.
So you're focused on A plays. All on your A plays, are all A plays the same in terms of size for you?
No.
Or are you thinking every A play is unique and different in itself?
Yeah. Every play has a unique size based on factors like average win, average loss,
Yep.
and things like that.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Well, look, man. Before we wrap this up, I really want to make sure, just in case I like maybe missed something. Is there anything that you wish maybe I would have asked you or brought up? Because maybe something I just wasn't thinking at the time that you'd love to talk about.
I don't know. I mean, the biggest message I ever have is just to track your own data. Like that's it. It changed everything for me.
It absolutely did.
Yeah.
And the fact that every answer that you've kind of come about answering,
Yeah.
it's been rooted around data as well.
Yeah,
And I love it. I love it. Yeah, I love it because you're literally true to your system and you stick with it.
Yeah.
And even though you had trouble sometimes along the way, how you got through it is focusing on process. And that's what we're all about, man. So I love that, man. So Chris, look, thanks so much for being on the show, brother. Are you on Twitter or you said you had social medias as well, right,
Yes.
man? And this guy is funny, okay? Hold on. This guy is funny, okay? So, and if you don't think he's funny, then hey, you can get mad at me, but I think he's funny, you know? So anyway, what's your socials?
Well, the comedy. So Chris Sunk, one word, Chris, and then SUNK. That's on like TikTok, Instagram. That's not day trading stuff. My day trading is only Twitter, and that is Chris_Sunk.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, thanks so much, my man.
Yeah.
Hey, have a great day, brother.
Yeah, you too.